Sound? Oh shit, my bad. How about now? Now we got sound. When we had no sound on the YouTube, I had it muted. My bad. So you can see, like, this is what I'm talking about. Every time that we get a little bit of upside, the downside, the tempo on the downside, the moves to the downside are coming a lot faster, right? Not saying that they're looking to try to trap buyers and flush them down, but they're just not very strong hands either side, right? The trend right here is definitely up. We're one time framing up still, even though we haven't taken the high of D. It's still technically one time framing with this inside E bar um, from the B period, right? B, C, D, right off the low, one time framing off the low. So we're still, trending up even though we're below the high and stuff. The thing that's making me nervous about the upside is that every time it gets up, they just liquidate quick, right? So it doesn't look like anyone's willing to be an initiated buyer today, not yet at least, right? They're looking, or kind of, it seems like they're just kind of looking around like, hey, who wants to buy this? Like, where is everyone? 9H057. What do you mean, where's everyone? I'm popping, no one else. Yeah, there was some guy in the YouTube named Pop. He was like, there's no sound. 9H057. Something. If you guys are watching on YouTube and you could just hit that like and subscribe button, that'd be great. Let's see if they can take this high. They're not getting a lot of volume right here, which is weird. Watch for the test of this level here. That's what we're looking for. See if they start to buy this thin volume spot in here. That's going to be kind of our key. But you see what I mean? Every time we start to move up, our tempo just starts to get slow. We start just ticking kind of back and forth, back and forth. But it does look like buyers are trying to step up right here now, so see if they can pop this up. Pretty balanced profile to start the day, with the exception of that poor low on the downside. Oh, you can see we have good excess to the top, actually a lot of excess, which is kind of what makes me think that this is selling. I think that price corrected overnight inventory, sellers came in hard, jammed price back down, got trapped a little bit too short, and then now we're starting to balance back out, right? Kind of looking like a B, just kind of telling us that it's it's liquidation, right? Every chance that they get, they just cover their longs. And so um um there's just not any real buying. It's just the buying is just caused by short covering. See how the tempo to the downside is always picking up fast, boom, starts to move. But to the upside, it's just like a trickle. It's like melting up. But as we've seen, we've seen the past couple of days, last week, we saw a couple of days that looked like it just melted up for the whole day, even though it was one time framing, left us some single prints, right? Gave us all of the clues that we needed to be successful. It was just very confusing to watch unfold. Easy to look at in hindsight, but definitely some plays that were kind of set up to get people, right? You guys want to listen to Trump? He's on the news right now. He's talking about Ukraine, so it could affect. I mean, he's not really doesn't really have any effect. He has no like power or anything. Just shit starting. He basically just said if he was president, Putin, if the next time Putin said the N-word, nuclear, and that's how he said it. He's like, he keeps saying the N-word over and over and over, nuclear. He said the next time he said it, then there would be serious repercussions for Putin. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's just like a normal. We're not missing much. The liquidation right there. We're just not seeing any like pile on selling here. Like even the push down right here looks just like liquidation. I don't see like the strength in selling. But they might just have enough people trapped long to liquidate. But yeah, just there it goes, pops right back on. You know what I mean? Like it's just so interesting that it seems so a lot of the selling is coming in or more coming from the overall market than it is coming from the S&P. Now they're talking about global warming and the new Green Deal or the Green New Deal or what. We do have some other stuff. So guys, I want to apologize real quick. Oh, you did the TPO bootcamp back in August, but honestly, haven't been very too often the last few months. Yeah, hey, if you did the TPO bootcamp, jump in the Discord. We're in the Zoom. The live trade room is free. They lost. I just thought we were. Yeah, we used to, but I had so I went through some health issues and had to stop streaming for a decent amount of time, and that's probably why. And I stopped posting plays. Um, oh, the Discord link's not working. Let me. Um, what? So I had some health issues, and then I stopped streaming, and then I stopped posting plays all the time. And kind of that's pretty standard when you stop giving people the plays, then they start finding somewhere else to find the plays. God forbid you try to teach them how to fish; they just want to eat. You know what I mean? And I want everybody to eat, but I want everyone to eat and share. Because sometimes we're going to be fishing different spots, and we're not going to be able to find fish. I'm not going to be able to find fish in my spot, and then Luis will be like, "Yo, this fishing hole's lit. Come over here and fish this hole," and then boom. That was a good one. That was a good one. And and that's the thing. That's a whole reason I actually started coming on stream, because I really didn't want to in the very beginning. Is But once I like met a lot of the community and seen that everyone wanted to just help each other out and be successful together, I was like, well, shit, let's get it. You guys watch any basketball this weekend? Some crazy game. I'll have to mess with those links today. I wonder why maybe they expire or something. I don't know. James used to run all that. But yeah, we're back. We're back now, and we'll be back every day. So, what's up, Alex?
I think that Discord link was to the it was to the white Discord channel, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not where the Zoom link is.
No, 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 it's not. But if he was in the TPO boot camp, he would be in this Discord.
Yeah, he'd be in the green one. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't see his name. What was your name on Discord? 9H. And then look, the market's right back where it was at. So we came up here, and then it just liquidated, and then just kind of just wound back up. So what it kind of looks like, right? Like I said, it looks like we got too short covering, and then we're getting liquidation, right? And then buyers are stepping back in, but every time we get up, we get some more liquidation. So if this thing continues to I mean, it has to break this one time framing first to really confirm. But if we continue to get these slowly kind of downtrending bars, right? Even if they're like this, right? Even if they're kind of sloppy and start to build a little bit of value, there's a better chance for liquidation late in the day when we have something set up like that. So, um, let's just say E period. What time? What do we got? We got 10 minutes until the next bar opens up. So let's say the next session um, doesn't take the D low, but takes the E low. The next one takes the high of that, but then the next one takes the D low, and then the next one starts to go down. That's our kind of ticket below the spike base at good odds that we're gonna see a good size liquidation and try to catch it from this 50 down to this 36. That's kind of what we see. But I'm not just shorting here, just kind of praying for it. Yeah, no problem, Soul Wings. Yeah, glad to have you. And now he's talking about how he got cheated out of the election again. Oh man. I wonder if he runs again. That'd be crazy.
I don't think he will. I think he'll lose if he runs again. He already lost once.
Yeah, I mean yeah, but some people just don't know how to give it up. I mean, Hillary Clinton ran like, about 1,000 times. She lost every time. It's page 057. Let me look for you, bro. Can't find it. Send me a. Are you logged on to Discord right now? Yes, I could just. Oh, there we go. I found you. Yeah, so go into the Discord and then go under trade room links, and then the second room says live trade room link, and then just jump in the Discord. That way, if you have any questions, you'll be able to uh, type them. What's up, James? It's just a little bit easier. He'll be in jail by then. That'd be crazy. Because he is. I mean, they are. They are putting him on trial, so definitely not out of the realm of possibility. That's for sure. And look at another thing too with Bitcoin, guys, is look at how these stops are set up here. We're having, you've got some stop accumulation here that held support. You've got stops accumulating here that are holding support for now, but a breakdown below this level, that 40,000 is going to be kind of the target. And if it breaks that 40,000, we can kind of expect our 39,136, right? This level's it's been good to us, and so that's going to be the area that they'll probably target. To the upside, I mean, I still think above that 43, right? The only resistance is 44 and 45,000, of course, but that 48, that high balance, 47,838, just looks like it has some good potential. Of course, with all of the stuff going on in the market, there's a kind of a tough situation to really just close your eyes and buy, right? One thing I did want to apologize for my people in the trade room. Last night, I wanted to put out a couple of other things that I didn't really have time for. I was kind of scattered yesterday. My son cut his leg, and then there's like kind of this whole thing. And then I had to call and yell at the people that built our fence because it was their fault because they left a bunch of materials behind in our backyard. And I'd been telling them for weeks to come clean it up, and they didn't. And then I called them, they didn't answer, and I left a message, said, hey, my son sliced his leg on one of the pieces of wood that you guys left in the backyard. If you'd give me a call, that'd be great. My phone rang instantly, and then they were out here with the fucking metal detector, like, ASAP. And so I was kind of like just in rage mode yesterday and didn't really get a chance to add everything that I wanted to the trade view. But what I wanted to add is this. So today, oh, this is not the one. Okay. So today we have Bostic. Well, Bostic already spoke actually, but Pal starts speaking in 5 minutes. Okay. And then tomorrow he's on 3 times this week, I think. Tomorrow we've got Cunliffe, Cunliffe, how do you spell that? Williams, Jordan, Mester, Daly. I think Pal's back on Wednesday. Yeah. Tuesday. And then Pal comes back on Wednesday in the afternoon. Yeah, here he is. Oh, he's early morning. We might have to get up early on Wednesday. Wow. See if he moves the market a little bit for us. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about this. One thing I wanted to talk about too that I didn't really get a chance. I kind of mentioned it about how um, in bear markets you'll see these huge up moves. And so when we're looking at well, basically I want you guys to do a little bit of research on bear markets, right? So if we get into a bear market, I'm using quotations here. Um, okay, yeah, 9ish, yeah. Just yeah, whenever you get back, bro. But yeah, so I'm using quotations here, but whenever we're in a bear market, typically you'll see some of these huge rallies, 10 to 20%, right? That does not last too long. Well, what I want to do is have you guys look into that a little bit, and then we will look at something that's kind of happening in a different market. Where's the composite? Can't spell, guys. So if anyone spell Shanghai, here it is. SS. Okay, here it is. So this is the basically the Asian market, and you can kind of see um we had that this well, if we go back to the beginning of the year, you can see they've been trading similar with us, right? They were down about 18%, and then all of a sudden almost 10% bounce here. Here we go. This is a composite index. But yeah, so you can see, a huge bounce in this, right? Same thing with the ES, but the ES, like I said, it looks a lot more controlled than that, at least on the way down. They're doing that play. But you can see, we went down about 14% total, and then off of that low, up about 10%, right? And I'm not saying that we're in a bear market, so to speak, but it would be kind of nonsense to argue that um the market still needs to break this previous month's high to basically certify that we can continue the upside, right? So this previous month's high, the market needs to get above that if it wants to continue this upward move. You see that poor high forming a DE high right here. That would make sense. So I'm just trying to maintain perspective, and since we are mostly excuse me, day trading in here, right? We're not really trying to predict what's going to happen in the next month or anything like that. We don't really try to predict anyways. We just play what the market tells us. See how the tempo picks up on the downside? We just like trickle, 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 smack down, you know? So just liquidation. So I really, I kind of think all the sellers are weak, but we're just not finding enough buyers at this high to really buy through. And, you know, also, now that I'm thinking about it, sorry, I know I'm jumping back and forth while I'm explaining stuff, but the market's forever changing. So we got to yes, um, look where it's getting smacked against the 62. If I have, might have turned the hours back on. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's at the 62, 63, the 200 SMA, just kind of getting sold right off of there. All right, but so back to the monthly chart, you can kind of see if we don't take this high, yeah, we didn't take the low, and we're really just forming a balance. And so we can kind of expect selling from the highs and buying from the lows and kind of expect balance, right? Which wouldn't be unhealthy for the market to just take a little break and then continue its move to the upside. We had a lot of rates priced in, and then we got the fear from the invasion of Ukraine. And then what happened is everyone was kind of like, no big deal. We're good with that. Uh, we priced in enough, and now we can continue the upside. But I just want you to maintain perspective, right? Remember that that level up there, this previous month's range, is our range that we're in right now. Right? Might be, I don't know if people are talking about other levels, but those are the key levels that you're focused on if you're looking at long term, right? Those are the first two levels that you're looking at for long term, right? Intermediate, the trend is balanced, right? Short term and in or short term trend is up, intermediate trend is balance, and long term trend is up, right? I'm just trying to kind of help you what if, right? And I know sometimes what if is like you can what if yourself to death. And I think somebody, what was the funniest one I ever heard was said, what if your grandma had wheels and she'd be a bike, right? The other one that my dad told me when I was a kid is a little bit inappropriate, but etc. Grandman said, well, let me look at it real quick for you, bro. Well, that was an old ass comment. For some reason my word like updates mess weird. And then the profile does something like this, right? So we're seeing these liquidations from the top, and then if we kind of take this, whoa, if I could draw a straight line, maybe. You know, kind of looks like a P, if you ask me, especially if you put the, oh, what the fuck is,
You merged it instead of splitting it.
I mean, this looks like a P to me, right? Pretty close, almost like a dead on. You know, so we had that early rip up off correction of overnight inventory, a big liquidation to the downside, and then a bunch of short covering here. So in reality, what we should be doing, it looks like, is selling rallies and buying breaks today. Oh, yes, the uncle one. Just kind of chilling here now. ETH is still looking for its breakout as well, especially if we switch to the daily.
I'm long on ETH from 2,500.
Let's go. Yeah, I mean, if ETH can, I mean, you can see this is a daily, but you can see daily stops just lined up. If this thing gets some gas, it could really run back up to that 3,500 level. That's the top of balance right here, pretty much. The top of this lower balance is, bigger on a bigger scale balance. So I was rereading the book this weekend, Markets in Profile by Jim Dalton, and when I'm reading it, I'm just like, I feel like I'm learning stuff that I already know, but like in a different way this time because now I have a better understanding of it. And it makes me want to fucking change the boot camp. Like I'm just like, oh, this could be so good. I'm not gonna, but what basically it's just like you just have to understand that with the ever evolving market, there's no one book or one guide or one thing that's gonna tell you everything that you need to have to be successful. It really is just gonna take that time. Um, and it takes less time, more time for some, less time for others, right? You guys have seen my dad actually, you know, been really successful since he started, which is super cool. Um, a little bit different from you guys is that a lot of you guys, he didn't have any uh habits to break because he never traded before. So
That's why I was such a good shooter in the army, because I never shot before I got there, so I didn't have bad habits to break.
yeah, yeah, that's I mean that's just how it works. You know what I mean? You don't know any other way, and so once you learn this way, that's it. Um, but I would definitely pick up that book. I don't think it's on Audible, so you'd have to buy it, read it. Or it might be online somewhere for download. I have the hard copy because I take notes and stuff in it, but it's worth it, right?
What book, Brad?
It's called Mind Over Markets. He has two books. One's called Mind Over Markets, and I think the other one's called Markets in Profile. They're both really good. Um, I
I
was
feel like
just
psychology books for trading are better than actual books for trading, because all the other books actually say the same thing, but the psychology ones are good, you know?
Yeah. Well, and the cool thing about Jim Dalton's books is that he includes a lot of psychology and a lot of personal stories um, into the book with the market profile. So it's like a double whammy. Almost makes me want to write a book. But I'll need a team of people to correct my grammar and things like that. You know what I should do is I should go look up my freshman year high school English teacher, best teacher ever. Her name was Miss McDonald. Um, I was terrible at English in school because I wasn't good at reading, and as an adolescent being immature, I was like, well, if I'm not good at it, I'm not going to try to be good at it. I'm just not going to be good at it, right? Not understanding that sometimes you're naturally good at stuff, but other things you just have to work hard and get good at, right? And they're important. So, at the time I had no idea, so I was just getting an F and I was just like, whatever, I'll just try it again next year, no big deal. Well, Miss McDonald uh stayed late on the very last day that assignments were due and like her book was due for grades or whatever, and offered, hey, if you come after school, I'll help you make up all the assignments that you haven't done, and you can at least get some credit for them and you'll pass the class. And so I was like, okay, well, at least I won't have to retake this class. So I went to the class, and we actually ended up staying from about like 3 p.m., which is what time we get out of school, till about 8 p.m. She bought pizzas and everything. There was a couple of the students in there. Um, and she was an older lady, but you could tell just out of the kindness of her heart that she wanted us all to be successful. And that was kind of the turning point where I was like, oh, okay, well, if I just practice, I can be good at these things. And that's a thing I think too with the profiles. People see the profile, immediately get intimidated because they're not really used to what they're looking at. And then when it doesn't start, flashing the colors that they needed to flash to give them money, they're like, yeah, this thing doesn't work. But in reality, it's just patience. Where's Pal at? What's he doing? Let me see if I can find Pal real quick. I don't see him yet. Oh, they're confirming the Supreme Court Judge Jackson today too. That's pretty cool. She's younger, which is what they need, because all the judges are like 90. See the leader today, Luna, back on the top, right? Taking its spot back. We can see ADA getting a little bit of a boost, and I noticed that. I was looking at my crypto wallet this weekend. That ADA was actually finally deciding to go back up a little bit after getting beat down for so long. I mean, you see Bitcoin is kind of being the lagger here. So this is more of a risk on environment, right? When you look at correlation between cryptocurrencies, when you're looking at Bitcoin kind of lagging, because sometimes everything will be up, right? Bitcoin will be up, Luna, ADA, BNB, ETH, everything. But a lot of times you'll see a lot of the uh, smaller coins or altcoins as they call them, or shit coins as Alex calls some of them, um, will inversely correlate, or not necessarily inversely correlate, but will get a lot more range than Bitcoin, right? And so that's kind of the key here. When you start to see some weakness, when we start to see some weakness in some of these altcoins, and look look for Bitcoin, look to see where it's at, and see if it's in a spot where it looks like it could break out, right? Some of those altcoins start to pull down, all that money's coming out of those altcoins, people are probably sticking it somewhere, right? When you think about it from a like a market maker perspective, that would be what they would do. Martin, what type of bars do you use? This is called a time price, or it's called a market profile chart, right? And each letter is a time price opportunity, and it represents a tick or a price value. So the the S&P 500 futures, trade in 0.25 per tick. So the price goes, you know, 44, 54, 75, 50, quarter, and then flat. And each one of these bars is representing a 30-minute time interval. And what we're doing is we're using the time price opportunity profile to track value. And value typically keeps us on the right side of the market. Um, yeah, profiles are mostly used by prop firms and professional traders, just because they show value, right? So a lot of times you can get addicted to price, right? A lot of retail traders get addicted to price. Oh, look at this thing, it's going up, I want to sell it. Or look at this thing, it's way down, I want to buy it, right? That's natural human instinct to buy something when we think it's on sale. You know, when I see, I mean, I legit got one of my monitors, one of my Alienware monitors, because I had it in my cart forever on Amazon, and then I was just waiting for Black Friday. Black Friday hit, they dropped the price, and boom, bought it. Right? So it's, you know, it's not like anyone is, you know, immune to buying things on sale. It's natural human instinct to get something for cheap. The difference here with the profile and the way that it's displayed, and it's a, you know, a distribution profile, is that it tells us where value is forming. And so we can see here with our value area low and our value area high that even when this price is coming down, it's just every time it's popping back up, this is just shorts are covering. So if you are looking for some cheaper prices to buy, you're going to want to be a little bit more patient, right? But every time it gets up here, we get some liquidations. You know, maybe we'll get some continuation this time, but it hasn't really shown its face. But we compare it to the previous day. This is the overnight profile, but previous day's value area high is here, so we know that value is up, right? And this is just, you know, the basic explanation of it. You know, I could sit here and talk about it all day and talk about the nuances that you can track while you're trading it. But in reality, you just if you don't trade with the profile, most likely you're trading with indicators that are delayed naturally because they're based off of price, and price is a delayed indicator. And it takes time to understand where value is developing and where you know, where you expect structure to fill in, and to understand the actual auction market theory, which I feel like in the, you know, I feel like in the new bootcamp, the explanation in there is great, right? The Apple explanation, but better. But, you know, understanding that the market is a two-way auction first, and then using that graphical representation that we see here on the chart to understand the psychological part of the market is really what we do here, right? Because you got to understand who you're competing against. And if you really don't understand who you're competing against, it's going to make the days a lot tougher than they really need to be, right? A lot more emotional stress, a lot more mental capital. You're going to be burned out taking 1,000 trades when, you know, we here just wait patiently. I mean, like, I took I legit only took breakout trades on crypto for a month and made $40,000. You know what I mean? I just waited for breakout trades, and I mean, I was using high leverage, but that's it. Um, the best thing for auction market theory, who explains it the best? I think I explained it the best, honestly. I mean, you could just you could read about it, Lord MacGyver, and learn about it and everything like that, but in reality, the best way to learn it is to watch it. But there is a 6-part market profile study guide that I will post in the link. Oh, fuck, wrong one. Here it is. That's an extension. Did anyone take any trades that they want to share? So I want to start getting into this where we're sharing our trades, and whether they're winners or losers, but going through them and understanding uh like what was going on when it went on, not necessarily right now, but for tomorrow. So like if you took a trade today that you'd like to go over, if you would send it to me, and send me like the time you got in, what you were trading, the time you got out, and then like the reason you got in, the reason you got out, those things, and I'll put it into like a slide format and we can go back and review it, because I think I figured out how to get Sierra Chart to do the replay this weekend. And so when the market slows down later on in our session, right, tomorrow we'll get on, we'll do our normal thing, and then around 10 o'clock when the market starts to get slow, even right now the market's starting to slow down, we can start reviewing that, right? And it's good if you want to share. It kind of puts you out there, but it's good for you to be out there like that. So my YouTube channel. Here you go. Can I not paste this? That's off the Chrome extension. I don't know why it keeps doing that, but yeah. So use or type in 6-part market profile study guide. Yeah, I know how to do it. Here's the link. That's the one. And read that, right? That's the best way, is to read it. The thing is that sometimes it's just tough to learn like that. We're seeing F get up here. Let's see if they're going to take these highs. Oh, triple top. How embarrassing. 9H, I do preach about journaling, trade journaling, how important it is and necessary, right? And as you grow as a trader and over time, your trade journal will start to evolve with it. At first, when you first start out, I would write down everything that you can possibly write down, right? Write down everything, because if you're not, you have nothing to compare it to, right? Write down why you got in the trade. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people, no problem, Soul with Wings. Yeah, no problem, Lord MacGyver. The if you're not writing down everything, and one tick, come on.
It's gonna pop up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the buyers look like they're finally ready to break.
You're getting some good volume up here, so it looks like we might get a little bit of continuation if they can get it. Oh my gosh, that's embarrassing. One tick. There you go. But yeah, so when you're first starting, if you're not keeping this detailed trade journal, when you start to go through a bad streak, which will happen, right? It just is going to happen. You're not going to trade perfectly all the time, and you're going to go through bad streaks. Sometimes you'll trade bad and still make money, right? And the only way you're going to know that is if you journal, right? And so there's certain things that you can do to set yourself up to make sure you're taking down the right notes, but in reality, it's all going to depend on your trading style, your psychology, how you feel about your trading, really. But if you're not journaling, I honestly believe if you don't journal that you'll never improve, right? And if you haven't been journaling, I'd love to see a year's worth of your trading, because
Brad, do you journal? Is you journal on the computer or on paper?
So I do both. When I first started, I would write down everything. I had a planner that I would write down, and I also had a notebook that I would write down. I would write the date, so that way I would write down like big key points on my planner, and then I would write down notes in my journal. As I have grown, right, and got more comfortable with what I'm doing and become more patient and stuff like that, I do tend to write down less things. A lot of times on my journal now is just numbers. I just write down numbers. Like I write down and you guys hear me call them out. I always call out those specific numbers, or I'll type them in the Discord. Those are the numbers that I write down, because I want to remember them for the rest of the week, right? And then at the end of the week, I'm like, okay, those numbers are gone. But I like to remember those numbers because a lot of times they're big numbers throughout the week. And then also with my trades, the way I'm grading myself is a lot more stringent than it probably was when I first started out, which keeps me a lot more patient. And then I also stick to my daily loss limits, my goal, right? A lot of times by the time we get on the stream, I'm pretty much done trading, and so I'm only taking, at that point, I'm only taking an A plus setup, right? I'm only waiting for like the good trade, and then I'm gonna try to jump on board. All right, so now we've got decent access to the upside. I mean, 2 ticks is not great, but it gets up there to that low volume, and only 98 contracts traded on the top tick. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like there's nothing wrong with having a bad history. Everybody has bad streaks in history, but when you start journaling and start keeping these things and start setting these specific goals or specific rules for your trading, you'll start to see the consistency, right? So let's say that your daily loss limit is $50, right? And then you have a weekly loss limit and a monthly loss limit. So your weekly loss limit is $150, right? Well, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you hit the loss limit. 1, 2, 3, boom, right? Well, guess what? Thursday, Friday, you're just watching. Let's say your monthly loss limit is $300, right? Because you don't want to have 6 losing days. Or let's just say 450, right? Let's say 450. We'll give you 9 losing days out of the month, right? The next week, you lose 5 days in a row. So, or you lose 3 more days in a row. So there's another 150. Now you're down 300. You end up watching Thursday and Friday again. This, someone turned their camera on. And then the third week of the month comes around and you hit your daily target on the first day, which is 150, right? So your normal thing is you're looking for 150, risking 50 to get there. And then boom, you're back just down 150 for the week. But let's say if you're not following your rules, you lose 150. The first 3 days you hit your loss limit, you listen to it. Thursday comes around and you're like, oh my God, looks like a killer. I'm going to get in it. Boom, you lose another 50. Now you're down 200. Friday comes around and now you're just revenge trading it. And on Friday you lose 100, right? Now you're down 300 already going into the second week. And now you're pissed, trying to think, I need to make it back. I need to make it back. I need to make it back, right? And that's because you're messing with your brain, right? Because you're thinking like, I need to get back to this number today. I need to. But if you have a plan and your plan is set, and your plan is today, I'm either gonna my max loss is gonna be 50, my target gain is gonna be 150, right? Well, let's say you're in a long trade and you're up 157 right here, and price is up. What should you do? Right? Should you just cut it right away? Of course not, right? You can go above 150. The thing is when you're trading and you get to 150, let's say you hit this trade and boom, you're up at 250 now, 250 for the day because you hit a nice big trade. Well, then there is no chance at all that you should get below 150. Let's say you get in a trade and it starts to drop. No matter what, I don't care if you think that it's going to fucking bounce right when it's supposed to hit 150. You should close it because that's your plan. And that's how this stuff adds up. Because not every day you're going to hit that 150. You're going to be risking 50 every day, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Right? 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, right? All the way across. And your target is 150 every day, but you're not always going to hit that 150. You've got to be realistic. Sometimes 75, maybe 175, maybe this day you only made $12. Maybe this day you hit another 50, right? It's just not going to happen. So it's nice to look at this. Oh, if I make 150 every day in fucking 3 months, I'll have $1 million. Great. But the thing is that I look at, and I always talk about how risk management is so much more important than the money that you gain. I'm looking for consistent losses. Like, so if someone sends me a trade journal and I see a day where they lost $50 and the next day they lost $280 and then the next day they lost $78, I'm going to ask them, like, what's your daily loss limit? Right? And if it's $100, like, well, what the fuck happened here? You know, why aren't you following your plan? You know, you have to understand some days that that's going to happen. But, and I know there's a long story short, and I really try to drive this point home, but the only way that you're going to be able to know that is if you're actually journaling. Because, yeah, you'd be like, oh, I can remember that, right? Okay. Right? Let's do a test and somebody walk me through exactly how the A period, and this is today, or we could even do the E period. Walk me through how the E period traded from the open, tick by tick, right? That wasn't very long ago. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? And so that journaling becomes that much more important. There's a little bit of a liquidation there, right? It's just not going to happen. So, ooh, Powell said he's going to hike more than 25 basis points. If they need to tighten above neutral weight, they'll do so. An extra 25 basis points each time if needed. Good old Powell to smack the market down for me. My boy. You're my boy, Blue. Just said that he's going to raise rates. This is what I'm talking about. Like, and this is the whole reason I've kind of been talking about the fear of the market, or I think thinking that the market was going to head down today, is because he has to raise rates. Oh, look at, he's getting clapped. This is just fucking beautiful. I love stuff like this. Not a ton of volume down here, guys. Pay attention. Right? Don't get fooled by price. I think that will probably come back up and test that 55 if anything. They're really smacking the shit out of this thing. That's kind of funny. I bought some SPY puts for Friday, and they're 437 puts. I mean, I'm looking for a price actually to trade to right here. Say that I'm looking. Watch the volume, guys. So he said that he's going to raise rates at the rate that's needed, and it could be faster, and it could slow the economy down, but it would be necessary to curb inflation. Nine H, you said it's like you're there with me. Well, that's the thing, man. Jump in the Discord. You know, I always encourage people to send me their trade reports or anything like that if you need help. I'm all about trying to help people improve, man. Enough people out there just trying to tell you they know the truth when in reality they just don't.
I know the truth, Brad. I know the
Oh
truth.
God, here we go.
I was gonna say the truth is
Fucking
you're
Jared.
right more often than you're wrong.
That's a pretty decent truth, yeah.
That's the truth.
Especially lately. Lately has been pretty decent truth. Were you short right there, Jared?
The guys, Brad, the guys that write the algorithms, they don't know what's going to happen next.
No, so the way that the algorithms are written is they're written off triggers, right? So because it's a computer and you can't really teach it to think, everything that the computer does has to be like if then. So if you look at all the coding in Excel, it has to be off something like that. So like but they base it off certain things like volatility, right? Like I mean there's like that move down, right, could have triggered a bunch of buy orders, right? Off an algo. But what they don't understand is the emotion of the market. Like right there. I mean, you saw where it popped right back up to, right? It popped, it literally came right back up to the open and then just came back down, right? You know, that's a pretty mechanical spot to sell off from. And so that's kind of telling you the emotion of this sell-off. It's more emotional driven than actual selling. But when you look at it on a candlestick chart, like if we look at the ES on the candlestick chart, and if you're looking at, you know, like what most people are looking at is like fucking 1 minute chart because they're an idiot. You know, you see this and you're like, oh fucking hell, you know, just sold off like crazy. But we're looking over here and we're looking for volume. Look, we see a weak spot here, a weak spot here, a weak spot here. We know there's good odds that these go back and get filled in, right? Unless the selling is strong, and it's not. It's just a pure liquidation, right? We need to see continuation. And what happens to a lot of people, especially a lot of futures traders, is they'll short right here or right at the bottom, right at the bottom of that initial move instead of being patient and waiting for those sellers to come back in, right? They came right back up to the open, they sold it back down, and so did we, you know? Because we know that mechanical sellers so far have been winning the day. Look, people have been buying breaks and selling rallies. But when we get down here to this low, if we don't see volume continuation, we're going to be looking to cover our position. I've got one looking to get covered here at 37, and then I have one more lot looking to get covered down there at the 20. But, you know, yeah, I don't know if it's going to just jump all the way down there, but that's where those single prints are at. And so that's I'm targeting these references, right? Big people trying to sell here. Bottom. And Pal's just clapping the market too. Good old Pal. There's that one at 37. One lot left. And remember, this is the low of those single prints too, right? Poor low. And I'd love to be like, we're going to break a poor low. Poor low is weak, and poor lows are weak. But how many times in the past couple of weeks have we seen a poor low just hold strong and then boom, a rally off of it, right? Is it going to hold this time? Doesn't look good. But we just know that it can, right? Only 30 contracts traded on the low that time. You know, that's not very many. You would assume that if they really wanted to sell it, that they would have sold it a little bit harder. And look, there it goes, a little bit of a breath right here. You should see, there we go. So you saw the sellers come right in below that 40. That's that level we need to watch, 40. So like 40 is a level that I just wrote down on my paper, 44.40 as a level to watch, right? We're seeing a little bit of buyers right here on the low of the single prints, which we saw earlier. See if they can flush them. They're fucking trying. There they go. One tick. Give us some excess. $39 contracts on the low. But 40, so what I was saying is 40 is a number that when we watch, when we look for them to re-offer or re-bid. So this 40 up here is kind of where they, where's 40 at? Is where they smacked it down, and that's what gave us that little bit of excess, still poor low. But if we go above 40, and you see how thin it is on this way down here, if we go above 40 here, you can expect some shorts to get nervous and start to cover. And especially today, right, we've got to be careful. People are selling rallies and buying breaks. So we could break this low, and then all of a sudden buyers could just come in strong. We know that if we're in a short and it gets above that 40 with a little bit of volume, we want to just get out of the way. Let it come up here, try to fill in some of these thin spots. Or maybe even try to look to take it back up. I'm still holding my short with a tight stop here though, because it looks weak on the low side. Like they're not. I mean weak. Like we're not seeing any sellers. Like they all disappeared. Almost like that was just liquidation. So here's the 40. Getting a little bit of tempo to the upside. There's some sellers back on it. Okay. They're holding it below the 40. That's good. Back to the 40. See him sell it again. I closed. Chicken. They were giving it up, so I just got out. Hey Brad, would you hold a poor low result in more of an inventory and break up? Yeah, so sellers turn into buyers. Would you hold a poor? Yeah, exactly, double R. So basically, what's happening here? Here, let me get this 1 minute chart off because it's gonna fucking make me mental. Not that you can't trade on a 1 minute chart, right? Because you definitely can. Just doesn't keep you as on sides as it could. So yeah, double R. So basically, what's happening is everyone that's so we had a liquidation. So you had a bunch of buyers up here capitulating and selling. Right, Powell got on there. So then more liquidation, and then momentum selling kicked on. We saw where the volume started. Came down to the bottom of those single prints. Late momentum traders kicked on, came down. Even later momentum traders tried to sell, and buyers were just smart money, right? Because we see that value is shifting up, and we've been buying breaks and selling rallies all day. But what's going to happen here? A smart money seller is going to be buying back their position here, right? And if big money is short, right, from higher, and they start buying it back, well, the other people start noticing the same thing, start buying it back. Same idea, and then boom, we just start to cover up. Kind of like.
I can't wait to send you a screenshot of these trades I made. Dude, I got short at 44.6350.
Nice.
And then I sold along the way down, and then I got long at 44.36.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's just market profile 101. Jared can't even read.
I know, and I'm up $2,500 today, and I'm an idiot. It's just easy.
It's not easy, but understanding how the profile works.
It is easy. It's easy to see your levels and go in, but does it always work? No. You know, like I could have went long right there, and it could have flushed, and I would have been screwed.
Truth is, direction, honesty is a position. What do you mean by that? And see, now we can cross that 40 number off, right? I mean, we can still monitor it as it comes off, but you know, it's on the page, but we're not paying too much attention to it as of right now because it's really just not going to be that important. We were looking at it as a spot where we could see sellers re-offer. They did. We pushed down. They did it again. We pushed down. The second time the push down was like 1.25, really weak. I covered because identified the weakness, right? Could that was an opportunity probably to buy the 40 after it came above it too. But then we saw it come back below the 40 for about 2 seconds, popped back above, and now we're back above those single prints, right? So building value up here is healthy for the market, right? Like we talked about in the trade view, just building a little bit of a range up here is healthy for the upside to continue. This is just really just emotionally driven, and we can see how emotionally it was is because literally the selling just stopped at the bottom because of short covering, right? Not because of buying, like not because of new money buying, because of shorts covering their position. So you have to identify this low as a weak low, right? One, because we have three, it's kind of three right in a row, but also because of that situation, we saw the emotion in that low, right? So we know that the rally off of that low wasn't caused by buyers, it was caused by sellers covering shorts. Does that make sense? So good odds that we go back and revisit that low to test those buyers again. The issue here, the deal here that we're looking for is, I mean, kind of like we talked about. I don't know if we rewind the stream, I think I drew these bars before they came out almost. For the most part. And it's just based off of this, how it's trading, right? Just trading pretty balanced. Every time it gets up here, people that are long liquidate. You get momentum, right? We got some momentum with Powell that time. That's what actually caused that break of this upper value that we were forming. And then here, when we got down, you got buyers that just rallied it back up, right? We can call this a tree formation. I'm going to write myself a new market profile book and include all these new profile shapes, not just B's and C's, but trees and bushes like fucking Bob Ross. Oh, Powell's on now. Let me find him. See what he's got to say. I'm going to bring him up now. Oh, 6 seconds.
In May, though that is not a decision that we've made. These actions, along with the adjustments we have made since last
Can you guys hear him?
represent a substantial firming in the stance of policy.
Just you.
With the intention of
Good.
restoring price stability.
Volume.
In my comments today, I will first discuss the economic conditions that warrant these actions, and then address the path ahead for monetary policy.
The Bazinga link. Oh, this is fucking wait until the 16th.
Long expansion that ended with the arrival of the pandemic, we saw the remarkable benefits of an extended period of strong labor market conditions. We seek to foster another long expansion in order to realize those benefits again. The labor market
Well, there's no sound on him, so fucked. Watch this low if Bitcoin breaks, right? Like we were talking about. There's some stops lined up here. And you got stops here, 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 here. So this thing could easily, come back down to this 40K level. I could see that.
While disparities in employment remain, job growth has been widespread across racial.
And those sellers turn into buyers, exactly.
By many measures, the labor market is extremely tight, significantly tighter than the very strong job market just before the pandemic. There are far more job openings going unfilled today than before the pandemic, despite today's unemployment rate being higher. Indeed, there are a record 1.7 posted job openings for each person who is looking for work. Record numbers of people are quitting jobs each month, typically to take another job with higher pay. Nominal wages are rising at the fastest pace in decades, with the gains strongest for those at the lower end of the wage distribution and among production and non-supervisory workers. It's worth considering why the labor market is so tight, given that the unemployment rate is actually higher than it was before the pandemic. One explanation is that the natural rate of unemployment may be temporarily elevated, so that wage pressure is greater for any given level of unemployment. The sheer volume of hiring may have taxed the capacity of markets to bring jobs and workers together. The delta
Bounces.
variance complicated hiring, and the strong financial position of households may have allowed some to be more selective in their job search. Over time, we might expect these.
So I don't think there's any big players in here today. I don't think we have any big boys in the market today. It doesn't look like it. And when you have a lot of mechanical references, that's pretty much a sign that we don't have big money. So it's not really a bunch of big money that's short covering down here. It's just smart money, right? This is just smart money short covering down here. And then there's no real like there's no real way to like measure a ratio. The easiest way right there, that looks like a capitulation, guys. Let's see. If they don't stay above that pop, it's gonna probably head back down. But basically what we want to pay attention to is the tempo that at which it does it, right? So if a market makes a new high but it just barely breaks it and it's weak, right? That's going to tell you that they're not that serious in the market. There, it goes back down, guys. Hopefully you guys got a nice piece of that. Pretty good trade. 50 down to the 46.
Oh, I did, Brad. I did.
Thanks. Me too. Good job, Jared. That's all Jared needs, guys. He just needs a pat on the back every once in a while.
Yeah, I just need Daddy to tell me he's proud.
You prefer questions in chat or verbally? Either, TJ. Whatever's easier for you. The reason I like this trade room format is because if you guys want to ask questions, I know sometimes it's easier for you guys to just say them than type them, because if I might get them confused. So yeah, if you want to, either way, whatever's easier for you. And then so
Zoom is instant.
yeah, Zoom is instant. But then double R. So the way that we watch that, right, is we watch the volume. I tend to watch this volume. I think the overall volume is a lot more important than intra-bar volume, but it gives us some clues. Intra-bar volume, like we see here back at that 40, that was that flip zone last time. So if sellers can get back below it, people are long above it. 1,400 contracts traded right above it. So if we get below this 40, you probably could see some more liquidation from people that are late longs up here. Right? Because we saw that pop, and I said, if this thing doesn't stay above that pop, it's probably going to pull back. And that is kind of our key sign that those longs are trapped. They kind of showed their hand today, and it's easy to see people's hands when we don't really have a lot of big money in the market slapping the market around and not really respecting the references. Just make sure there's no grammatical errors in your question, TJ, because if there is, I just won't take it. I'm just fucking around.
Since you're on YouTube and everything, I just didn't know if you wanted a whole lot of talking on the stream.
Oh, H says poor low. Yes, definitely. The auction not complete because there is a lack of a selling tail to show you that buyers came in to hold the market. Poor low increases likelihood that the low will be repaired. Yes, that is a fact. That is a fact. But what we want to see here is if we're going to get some continuation. So we're in a short now, but I want to see, should I hold the short or should I just keep letting it run? And it looks like I want to keep letting it run for now until we start to see these shorts start to cover like they did in G period, right? And we're watching this 40-40 because look who's there again, right? Where do we bounce off? I mean, they're really showing us the goods today, right? They're making it easy for us. And it helps that Powell's just out here talking about inflation, scaring everyone. I can only imagine if they just turn the internet off. Oh my god. Then I'd have to move to Chicago or something. Trade in the pit.
Damn.
So let's watch the volume here and the tempo. Let's see if it can pick up and really start to get that continuation. There we go. Now, monitor here for buyers to see if they're going to short cover, right? We saw them push it back below that 40. They headed towards that low. And now let's see if they get continuation or if it just dries up, right? Only 16 contracts traded on the low here. And we have good excess. And smart money has been buying breaks and selling rallies all day pretty much. But now we know where our resistance level is at. It's going to be that 40. And let's see, 200 on the low. So it looks like we're getting a little bit of continuation here. This looks good. They come back up to see if anyone's interested in selling again. Little short covering rally. Watch the 40.
Are you gonna short this top, Brad?
Well, I'm long now, but
Oh, I was thinking about shorting if it got up to 44.40, but
yeah, I covered some right there at the 38.50. But see if it gets because if it gets above the 40, I mean it was pretty thin on the way down. Could cover all the way back up to that 45, but it doesn't look like it here. Yeah, if it gets below this 36, I'll just jump out. But yeah, I mean, smart money's just been buying breaks and selling rallies all day, so you might as well just do what they're doing, right?
yeah.
So it breaks down, buy it. It's up above, sell it. I mean, stay out of the middle, right? And that's another key thing too that I think a lot of people get in hot water is what will happen is that let's say the bar comes up to here, right? And they're like, oh, it's gonna go down. Well, they get short and they're stopped somewhere up here. Well, it goes up, breaks that F high, and then comes all the way back down and breaks that F low. So let's say they got stopped out and they're like, fuck, I was right. Well, it's just because they're not being patient and they need to stay out of this zone, right? There's no point to be trading in here, right? Because we know that they're selling rallies and buying breaks, so we should be doing the same exact thing, right? We're not trying to predict the market, we're trying to trade with the market. So unless we get continuation to the downside, then we'll look for a pullback area, and our pullback area is 40 to get short, right? Same idea in all of this is just comes into being patient, right? If you're not staying patient, then of course you're going to run into some of these issues. Four contracts trade on the low there.
Hey, Brad, I just looked at my trade performance for the day, and I didn't take any heat today at all on any of my trades, and I'm up 3,100 bucks.
Nice. How many lots did you trade? That's what I care about. And what's your Sharpe ratio?
And my Sharpe ratio was 11.
Nice.
I made a total of 17 trades today.
See, doesn't that feel so much better?
Dude, it feels good.
Jared used to trade like 200 lots a day,
Yeah.
or 300 lots a day, and he would just be a stress fest. And like, his trading would affect his entire day, right? If he traded shitty, it would affect his entire day, and the reason was because he was over leveraged. And I think that's a huge issue with a lot of people is that they want that quick gain, but really, like we talked about earlier, you know, those gains add up day over day over day over day, and if you try to force them to come early, they're just not going to come. 200, look at that. Somebody smacked the low right there with an offer and got 8 up. 260. That all traded on the bid. Poor guys. So now we have trap sellers on the 30. They need to get below the 30 or they are trapped down there. So they hold it below the 33 right there. It's thin right here. But I mean it looks like they kind of want it. Saw a little bit of tempo speeding up. Just kind of curious about this low here because we just took the Globex low, so this could just be mechanical buying below the Globex low. We'll find out here. I mean, you can see some absorption here, obviously. There they go. So they're interested. We got single prints above, another poor low. And so now that we have our single prints, right, and we're one time framing to the low side now, F, G, H, on a pullback, if it pulls back, we would monitor these single prints for failure to fill and look to get short out of there, unless you're already short. And then if you are already short, you should be targeting that 20 quarter. That's a single print down there. Here, let me send you a picture of these puts, bro.
Are they better than my Lockheed Martin calls?
I mean, you paid $10 for them, and they're worth $55 now. So,
Damn. Damn.
yeah, they're up.
That's 5 times.
Yeah, it's like a 500%
At
gain.
max, my Lockheed were 7 times at max. So
Lockheed's up again today, I think, too.
I sold.
Okay, now Pal's gonna start taking questions. So it could start getting ugly again.
Bye.
Oh. But see the volume moving down here. We want to start seeing it some increasing volume as we get lower. You know, we haven't had a lot of time. This is, you know, 3 TPOs wide, but we're 2 TPOs wide here. We should start to see a little bit of volume increase if these sellers are going to continue here. Remember, we still have single prints above, so the filling of single prints will just tell us we'll kind of go back into a rotational market, right? But we still aren't going to break, still isn't going to break the one time framing. I would say the downside is still where you want to be looking for. And that target's going to be that 20 quarter, right? Those single prints down there. Don't diddle in the middle. There you go. That's a good one. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is it, and when people it's really just impatience or FOMO. Because like you can a lot of times, you know, when you look at a chart, and I know this has probably happened to all of you guys because it happens to me. Sometimes I'll just be looking through random charts or whatever, and then all of a sudden chart pop up. I'm like, shit's about to pop up, right? And then I'll draw a couple lines on the chart, fucking look back the next day, and then boom, it did happen. I'm like, God damn it, why didn't I listen to myself, right? I mean, one, I just don't. That's just not how I trade anymore. But two, like you think about it, and just because that's what it did doesn't mean that you were right. Because predicting where something is going to go, or I mean, guessing ultimately based off of odds, it's a prediction. But you know, like I'm saying, you know, Bitcoin has good odds to go back to this 40,000 right now, right? Especially if it cracks these lows. There's a lot of stops set up here, but we've got a chance to go to head back down to 40K. Then the ES is breaking some lows too. Like a good. I'd head down and get those single prints from. But people want to get into the move right now. I need to get in right now. I just need, because I don't want to miss it, right? So if you set up your trade plan, right? Let's say, okay, my trade plan is this. If it comes up to here, I'm gonna short, and G period comes up, never gets up to your short, right? Well, what can happen is by the time you decide I do want to short, you do short here. This thing rallied back up. You remember back up to this 44. You're stopped out, and then boom, it's 20 points lower now. That's why, I mean, it all really comes back to the plan, right? If you don't have a plan, you'll probably end up getting caught in something like that. But if you have a trade plan, you know, I wouldn't, if unless you just don't follow your trade plan, which that can definitely does.
Brad, does it cost anything to use Sierra? I already got like my connections through AMP. I just been trading on TradingView, but I'm addicted to looking at the TPO.
No, there's not. I think it's well, if you already have AMP, you would just have to pay like the $35 a month or something like that.
Like 57, I think. Oh, just to look?
Well, he already has a data feed, so he would just have to be connecting just to pay for the chart itself, and I think it's just like $30, $36 or something. I mean, it's not going to be more than $50 a month, and it's worth it because there's a lot of tools. The customization is really nice, and it's only 30. I mean, it's only $50. So look at that, 515 contracts traded on the low, and they all traded on the bid, every single one of them.
I see like a $26 one, which is like a basic, and there's one that says advanced features, which is 36. It says TPO chart study. Is that the one I would need?
Yeah, that's one. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and I can send you the template, or it might be posted in the Discord. I think I posted it, but if not, just give me a message. I'll send it to you, and then you'll just upload it. I was talking about the labor market and price stability right now. Watch these single prints. This previous point of control down here is down at 40, 50 basically. 40,500. So yeah, I always maintain the same rules and strategy. Like so, um, if the market conditions change, then I will, adapt to them, right? Like so today we had some pretty emotional selling, and so I switched my bias real quick. I mean, really below the spike base, I wasn't really looking to take very many longs. I did take a nice responsive long because it was kind of an easy setup, but that was more of just like a fade trade, a quick fade trade than anything else. Um, if what I had planned out doesn't become available, right, or doesn't, I don't have an opportunity to trade it like that, then what I'll do is just not trade, or just make a new plan. But I won't just I won't wing it. It's just not something that I'll do. I have before and mixed results where sometimes I do well, sometimes I don't do well. But comparing it to the results where I actually prepare, it's unmatchable. So now, at the point I'm at where, I'm doing this for a living, like I need this money to live, I'm not really into winging it, as they say. I know, boring. That's all I'm all about here. Boringness. Consistently boring. Consistently boring gains. I should change the channel name. Then people start tuning in like, what the fuck's this guy talking about? Consistently boring gains. But yeah, I mean, like, if big money's um if you come into the day and you have a plan and the day just doesn't do anything that you thought it was going to do, don't try to just guess what it's going to do next. Take a step back and look and try to figure it out, right? And if you don't have a feel for the market, like I've and I'll be honest, like there's times where you go through, like last week I had a negative bias but was able to trade well because I was paying attention to the chart. Right? Even though I really was looking for shorts like all day, they just didn't really come up very often. And then when they did, I would just hammer the shit out of them. Um, but not not understanding the actual plan and having my levels and stuff like that is really just unwinnable fight. You're just gambling at that point, honestly. You know what I mean? It's the same reason why casinos want you to keep playing so they can get that money back. Even when you win money, as long as they can keep you playing, they can get their money back. All these are trading on the bid here. They're selling the shit out of this. Double rate hike is scaring everybody. Yeah, and Pal's kind of back on his mean mug. Back before he was well, this most recent Fed meeting, he was just kind of like, oh, lollipops and rainbows and unicorns. And now he's back to what was like the meeting in January where he just started smacking everyone down. You know what we'll see? Even though pretty much everybody on the internet was bullish, I think. All the videos that I watched were pretty bullish videos. I mean, the trend is obviously still up. It's not like we're making some fucking crazy significant low. We're barely inside yesterday's value area. You know what I mean? And we still have single prints below, so we still have buyer support down here. So nothing crazy, but we'll see a bunch of videos today that will say we sold right off the 200 SMA. Genius. Well, it went above, but I mean, like, yeah, you know, that's why we pay attention to it because we don't live in a bubble, right? Or a vacuum, as Jim Dalton calls it. He doesn't live in a vacuum. Al said we're not expecting near-term inflation progress or near-term progress on inflation. The same idea. You see when the tempo, you see the tempo on the way down? when we move down like that fast, right, and then up is just like kind of a trickle. When we're moving down like that fast, we notice tempo and then pay attention to the volume. We can see, we've got a bunch of selling down here, 25 to 24. That's where the sellers want to get it below, but it kind of looks like so it kind of looks like somebody's trying to hold it above those single prints. What do we got? 15 minutes until the next period opens up. See, like right here would be such a tough spot to decide, am I going to get in this trade? Only 47 contracts traded on the bottom tick. Kind of getting down here, but we are getting volume. There were some sellers down here last time. Let's see if they're going to sell. Are they going to just sell real quick at those sell stops and then, or those buy stops, and then boom, pop back up because they're just trying to push it down to their take profit? There it goes. Now watch to see if it stays below the 24.25. If they keep it below the 24.25, it'll let you know that sellers still have control, and that target's going to be those single prints for sure. So back up to that 25, they resell it. You got your opportunity for a pullback there. Hopefully you took it. Target those single prints Friday. Notice how when we get to the low, the tempo starts to get so slow, right? Like on the way down, we start to get good tempo, but then once we get close to the low, the tempo starts to slow here. We're seeing absorption on the low again. These buyers are trying to defend these single prints, which could cause real capitulation below this. Oh my goodness. Come on, give us one more tick here.
Dude, I need to just start letting my runners run, Brad. That's my biggest problem right now.
That comes in time, Jared. It'll start to come. It like managing your trade, you'll start to figure out once you start watching that red triangle move around more, you'll start to understand like, okay, this is where I put my stop, and if it goes above there, then whatever. But they should hold this level, and it'll allow you to be letting your runners run. The another key thing that will help you too, that now that you're on the right track, um, don't move any of your stop losses until your first take profit gets hit.
Okay.
Don't even touch them, right? And get comfortable with that, right? Sometimes you might take some heat, right? I mean, if the trade starts to fail, then you're going to flatten the trade. Don't let your stop loss get hit. But I'm just saying, just don't just jump to the
No, I
conclusion.
know exactly what you're saying. What I've and I recognize that about myself. So what I started to do is just take profit quicker and let it hit my take profit versus, getting stopped out in profit. Um, so I was moving my stop losses, kind of up basically, or my take profits up a little just on this short, just to make sure I got into profit. So I've been taking like 2 points, 3 points, 2 points, 3 points, 2 points, 3 points. And I've just been kind of nickeling and diming it, but along that way, I've probably missed out on 15 points, you know?
Right. Yeah.
So I'm like, man, why am I so scared to just let these things just because I can tell it's breaking its broke its support and it's running down. And I'm like, why am I just not in this trade right now?
Because you've been hurt before. That's why.
That is true. Dude, I'm up $3,700 for the day.
Nice. And what's your daily goal?
Uh, Brad, listen.
See, here we go. Gotta be good.
All right, if you want me to be an example on your chat, I will be. My daily goal was 1,500 on each account, which is $3,000, and I've surpassed that.
Okay. So now there's no issue with continuing to trade, right? Especially when you're having a good day, right? You never quit when you're on your heater. You guys have heard that. But the thing is, you have to make sure now that you're managing risk. So if your daily goal was 1,500 and you're past that, don't let yourself get below that.
Yeah.
And especially you, Jared, because I know how much you love to watch that trailing drawdown. So you're gonna, if you do take a loss, and you're like, nah, no, I will get it back. Like, so be careful.
I might just hop off here.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost it's 10:20 already. Yeah, I got to get a workout in here pretty soon. Got to head to the grocery store as well. I'm just waiting for Pal to be
I'm
over.
just gonna hop off.
All right, bro.
I'm gonna be smart, Brad. I'm gonna be smart.
I like it. I like it.
All right, everybody have a good one.
Later, bro.
Later, man. Later, guys.
Pal said the economy can handle less accommodative monetary policy. So that's good for the market. But the market, I think, just got a little bit scared. Damn, Nike did go to all. I wanted to get long on Nike too. Should have done it. But basically that's just saying that the what's it called? They weren't really pricing in all these double rate hikes. He got pretty like, oh, you guys are good. You guys believe in this. The market's strong. Here, I'll just smack it down a little bit. And I mean, if I'm being honest, I really just needed to go to 43.79, and then you guys can take it back up. Cool with me. Look at the divergence between Bitcoin here and the overall market, right? Yeah, it came down, but ES is making new lows, and Bitcoin seems to be holding the lows. And then here, I mean, here's the 6:30 when the cash session opened here. Still holding the low of the day. The VIX is up 5% today too. Take a peek at the VIX real quick. You can see it came right down to our trend line. Back up there. Real indecision though. Didn't do anything crazy. TLT's still down. That's kind of weird. Oil's still climbing. Take a peek actually at my boy Corn. Look at Corn breaking out of balance. Let's go. Corn 2 million, guys. Corn just made the most expensive thing there. More expensive than avocados on the East Coast. That's what I'm gonna have to get used to. Because I put avocados on like almost everything. So on the East Coast, I know they're basically like hot commodity. I have to start importing them. Nvidia's looking. Remember, Nvidia was one of our stronger uh stocks lately, right? Looking kind of weak today, right? Hasn't breaking the lows yet, but if it does break the lows of the day today, it could get ugly. Apple as well, looking kind of ugly, getting down close to these lows. You can see that kind of was just that Friday for everything was kind of just a stretch. So there's kind of a gap, a value gap, really, uh, down in a lot of these stocks. Getting a little bit of backfilling now. What level were we watching before? Uh, it was the 25, right? 24.25. Let's watch that 24.25 again as we bid back or offer back. What's up, Otto? Look at this here. This is the ZQ, the Fed funds, the one that expires in May. Coming down here, right? Came down. This is what scared the market a little bit. We want to see this thing just kind of flatten out and start trading sideways. The more that it goes down, the more the market starts to bet on rate increases or rate hikes at the next meeting in May. And remember, I mean, he kind of said that he's going to double increase in May, which everyone already expected that. But um, you know, if this thing keeps going down, it could kind of tell us, you know, if they're expecting 3 rate hikes, because he said he can be aggressive because the market can handle it. Back to that 25. This is gonna be a capitulation for a lot of these shorts here. If they don't re-short this thing here, re-offer it, you can probably see some short covering back up to that high or back up to the open maybe. Pretty much where they shorted it from last time. See how the high volume not thin spot here at the 28 and volumes back up at that 30. So 30 to 32 that each open. They sell it down again. So buyers hold that 22 for now. A little ping pong here, 22 and 25. But it looks like volume is starting to come into this upside here. They're trying to fill this in. So, but still could be, still could be just a little bit of backfilling and inventory reshuffling. Nice, Otto. Good stuff. So they hold that 22 again. Yeah, Nike's got earnings today. Today the 21st. It is. Yeah, so yeah, they have earnings today. Yeah, I got kind of frazzled yesterday, so I didn't really get to dig into everything. I wanted to get that trade view out a little bit earlier so you guys weren't trying to wake up in the morning early. Have to look at it early. We're back below the 22. That's where those buyers were kind of holding. They've lost it. Look to see if they're trying to hold again in the single prints area. If not, that point of control from Friday is 4110 is the next reference down, and then the T2 high down there at 4406. Real thin. You can see how kind of thin it was in the profile on Friday, right? Throughout here. So it makes sense to try to fill this back in structurally. Well, all the way really to fill it back in structurally to make it strong to continue up. Watch the 25 again. If they sell it again. They didn't get the push down that they did before last time they sold it, right? Last time they sold the 25, they took the low. This time they sold the 25, and where'd that thing come down to? Like 20 or something, like the single prints, right? 20 quarter. Oh, it's done. So remember that this low was pretty emotional. And so we could see we're back above 25. We could see a short covering rally here. Be careful. It doesn't look great here, but this is a kind of a dangerous spot to be getting in a trade, I think. I'd wait to see if it fails up here. Especially right here. 27. 8. What's that 28 level? So 25 came, nothing really. They didn't, I mean, they tried to sell it, but just kind of got absorbed. Buyers stepped up and they're holding it. So watch the 28 level. That'd be the next spot that you could assume sellers will try to sell. There goes those stops from the people that were at 25. Now it needs to stay above that 27. Here's 28. They're trying to sell it. Buyers are going to want to hold it above 27. They keep, yeah, they're buying it. If they keep going, this could be a short covering rally and close all the way back up to the upper distribution. They hold for now, 29. They should hold this 27 area here if they want to continue higher. Remember, we're still one time framing down, right? So if you're taking long, you've got to understand that it's just a fade, and you shouldn't be looking for those single prints, right? You should be looking for, a couple of points here on a fade trade. Maybe a point and maybe 2 points. Nothing. Shouldn't be looking for a 30-point fade. It'd be nice, big short covering rally happens and you're able to manage your positions and the runner starts to run. That's always great when that happens, but what you should be looking for is to cover 1 to 2 points above. But other than that, it's about 10:33. We just got this I period opened up. I'm gonna go get a workout in. I suggest that all of you guys do the same, right? Get that blood pumping, get away from the screen for a second, get that mental capital built back up. A little bit of short cover in there.
Close the singles.
If
Few
it-
up above.
Close the upper distribution above. What we'll be looking for. Almost. And remember, a break of that one time framing at this point in the session is not very it's not very early in the session at this point. We're about halfway through. So it's not really going to tell us anything except for that the market's probably going to be rotational, but we still haven't broken the one time framing to the upside. Yeah, I'm going to go catch a workout and get some lunch. I'll be around if anyone has any questions. If anyone would like to share any trades or do a review tomorrow after the session, like I said, I'd like to start doing it maybe 1 or 2 days a week. So just send me all of that information. That way I can, clip it into like a little PDF, pull it up, and we can go through it. And then trying to get the replay working on Sierra chart. So hopefully that'll be friendly with us tomorrow. But other than that, make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys later.
Thanks, Brad. See you, man.